Today I thought I'd talk about the significance of Amazon Web Services crashing and causing a worldwide internet outage, and why we all need to be more self-sufficient in our everyday lives. Just like with CrowdStrike in 2024, which caused an internet outage that affected the globe. AWS took down a huge percentage of web services globally. Amazon controls the largest percentage of cloud services. Estimates suggest around 37% globally. It goes to show the common trend in our increasingly fragile societies that we're creating for ourselves. We're creating a world dependent on digital infrastructure and controlled by just a few giant corporations, and the internet could easily be taken down by glitches or software updates. That's not even considering the potential for a massive cyber attack affecting critical infrastructures that make up the foundation of our modern societies, like water and waste management, electrical grids, supply chains, communication systems, healthcare systems, financial institutions, transportation sectors, and many other areas of society that are absolutely crucial for its daily function. AI systems are being used to power advanced cyber attacks, and they're only getting worse as technology advances and more resources are allocated to them. We're also overloading our critical infrastructure systems as they're rapidly aging and not being repaired, maintained, and replaced as they should be. Higher loads are placed onto these systems due to population growth, and problems sourcing resources are becoming scarcer by the year, like skilled labor or even food, water, and sources of energy. All of these systems have some sort of digital and electrical components to ensure they operate with incredible speed and minimal error. Our supply chains mostly utilize the just-in-time delivery system, where manufacturing and delivering goods only when they're ordered and needed, reducing the need for large inventories and large areas to store these goods. Looking back at what happened with the pandemic, things get out of control really quickly, where existing inventories are quickly depleted from panic buying, and new inventory is hard to source due to this supply chain system. All at a time where we're at the peak of solar cycle 25, as the sun is the most active right now, with large amounts of radiation blasting off of it. If we were to experience another Carrington-level solar flare event, or even a Miyake event, which is larger than a Carrington event, it has the potential to fully collapse our societies as we know it, because of our reliance on electricity and the internet, as these systems were not built with rigidity in mind. If we were to experience an event like that, it would completely cripple our modern world. According to geophysicists, we're due for one any time, and if it were to occur, it would happen at a time like this. Just recently, the European Space Agency simulated a test to see what would happen if an X-45 solar flare, the most intense solar flare class in size, were to hit the Earth. The test determined it would hit the Earth in 8 minutes and disrupt communications. 20 minutes, it would damage or even destroy orbiting satellite components permanently. 10 to 18 hours would result in the coronal mass ejection reaching Earth's magnetic field, and could end up overloading and destroying transformers controlling our grids, if electrical lines were not disconnected by electrical utilities by the time it hits the Earth. Now, of course, that's a lot of time, and they could shut it down, but here's the problem. Grids are the largest machines on Earth, and their cables act like giant antennas, which can have large currents and overvoltages induced on them by geomagnetic storms. And as our grids become increasingly more overloaded, with large electrical loads like data centers, they pose an enormous risk of blackouts across the world, as it's hard to bring grids back online from complete blackout scenarios. This year, Spain and Portugal experienced a large-scale blackout, with most of Spain and parts of Portugal left in the dark due to a surge in voltage that the grid was unable to absorb. The cause is reportedly still under investigation. Governments and central banks are moving at a breakneck speed in order to do away with cash and make our societies cashless, and require us to have digital IDs to access basic services, or even just live in your country, which is preposterous, by the way. Cash would be vital in an emergency, and it's possible that digital ID verification could hinder your access to services if the internet went down. It's never been easier to crash financial markets like it is today, like with the massive correction we saw in April 2025 as the US government announced tariffs on foreign goods. since most trading today is done electronically and settlements can be cleared faster than ever before, unlike the old days of buying and trading stock and bond certificates, where it would take forever to sell a bunch all at once. Bank runs can occur more quickly because they can all happen electronically, which could collapse a financial institution faster than at any point in our history. Silicon Valley Bank, the third largest bank failure in US history, collapsed in around just 48 hours. Even our entertainment is becoming stuck behind electronic paywalls and gate-kept by large media corporations. Today we have the best access to physical media we've ever had in our lives. However, the age of physical media is quickly dying out as companies force streaming down our throats and are incentivized to produce less physical and more digital, as consumers prefer to choose convenience over access. Human interactions are becoming so dependent on technology that we now turn to dating apps to find connection, or we prefer to use our phones to communicate with one another instead of face-to-face. It's never been easier to destroy relationships through the use of the internet. It's become so damaging that communities are dying out, families are dying out, human connection and stability are in jeopardy, and it all stems from our collective addiction to technology and our creature comforts, as we avoid what it's like to live the human experience by searching exclusively for positive emotions and avoiding negative ones, while searching for cheap dopamine and validation. People are getting canceled and having their lives ruined for what they say online, or even getting arrested for their opinions in countries that pride themselves on free speech, like the UK or, in my country, Canada. The world has become so incredibly fragile with the path we're on, and it's only a matter of time before something massive breaks down and we're all left scrambling to prevent our cushy, convenient, and comfortable lives from escaping our grasp. We are physical beings in a physical world. We were never meant to be this chronically online and be this entrenched in the digital world and dependent on systems with shaky foundations. And it's never been more obvious than it is now the long-term and possibly permanent damage it'll bring down on us if we don't change course. It's never been more important than it is now to be more independent and self-reliant and develop systems that aren't exclusively reliant on the modern world we live in. Of course, we shouldn't stop living the modern lives we live, as progress is hard to ignore and turn our backs on. We just need to be able to weather the storms when they come, because they will, as they have been many times in our history before. This modern life has made me weaker. It's made the people around me weaker, and it's made our global community weaker. Now is the time to consider being more resilient and get somewhat back to a point when we were stronger to handle the uncertainty of the lives we live, because the only thing that's certain in this life is uncertainty. How we handle it is up to us. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.